Howdy folks, I'm resourceful spellbar reindeer, rambunctiously rallying rude raccoons.
I'm Amber.
And here are even more rude raccoons for us to rally. And you know why we're rallying them? Because we're going to take over Reddit, and then the world. You'll see. Let's get started. Oh, Brian, you and your dreams of megalomania and taking over the world. Why does it always have to be taking over the world, Brian? Because my name is just flipped from brain, from Pinky in the Brain.
It's
and
an anagram for
it's an
brain.
anagram for that. So really, I'm just a mouse trapped inside of a human body, bent on taking over the world. All right, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk If I Don't Provide the Code My Boss Needs After They Fired Me? So I got fired / laid off 3 months ago, and they made it look like a layoff because they wanted someone with more expertise than a senior manager, more like a director level, and there was nothing that I could do. I knew that it was a BS excuse as they hired a junior level who was trained to fill my position. My last 2 weeks, my boss didn't even ask for anything. He avoided any communication and directed me to HR if I wanted to communicate. No exit or offboarding was done, and he considered himself overqualified to do an offboarding with me. Well, fast forward 3 months later, after my last day, I receive a message from him trying to log into one of the systems, and because of the two-step verification, the second step comes to my phone. He tried like 2 days and then reached out to me like nothing and wanted me to provide the code to him. I ignored it completely, but now I'm wondering if I should have just given him the code. Edit, I did say system, but it's not a system where you can have a license. It's more like a website where I created an account to pay the states quarterly. Anyone from my company can create a new account if they provide the EIN and some security questions. He is just trying to use my username and password. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, first of all, it sounds like this is an easily remediable issue. They would just need to make a new account.
Yeah.
Secondly, he had all the time in the world to get that information and decide it wasn't important enough. OP is no longer works there. This is not crucial to, it doesn't sound like this is going to be a legal issue. Like if OP doesn't give this information, they're in legal trouble. So I don't see anything wrong with this.
Yeah, I mean, I would have a hard time faulting OP here, but I would look into the legalities of it just to make sure that the company can't sue them. And that way they can, live with a peace of mind knowing that they're not in the wrong. Another option would be to contact HR and explain the situation and have HR handle it, because it's not good to be harassing or asking your former employees for information like this. And his account should have been cleaned out of the system anyways.
Well, that's the thing. Since he's no longer there, the account shouldn't still be used, and I'd be concerned with keeping it active.
Mm-hmm.
That might actually be a bigger issue.
Yeah, like if it's going to look like OP is logging into the system, could that come back to bite OP here?
Right. Could their account be used for nefarious purposes?
Mm-hmm.
Once an employee is terminated, I think it's standard practice to clear out those old accounts to protect everyone.
Yeah. So I would say that OP should definitely look into the legalities and look into what the boss is doing and maybe even report them for trying to use an account that isn't theirs. And then maybe get a little bit of satisfaction out of knowing the boss might get into some kind of trouble. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. A jerk with good intentions.
What?
I don't know about that, Wheel.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I think the wheel wants to use OP's login info.
Yeah, the Wheel is over here like, just send the two-factor authentication my way. And Established in 76 says, nope, not the jerk. He should have handled all of this beforehand, and because I'm that level of a petty, I would also continue ignoring the messages and phone calls. I would even take it to the next step and block his number. You have no loyalties to them anymore. And OP replies, which I did. I blocked his personal cell phone number. Now he really has to go through HR or his boss to contact me. And No Comfortable 3918 says, not the jerk, but this company has much bigger problems if system authentication requires verification to personal, not company phones. And OP replies, lol, yes, they gave me a company phone first day and then they took it away. So we were required to use our cell phones from IT for two-step verification. And Pascal73 says, this is 100% idiotic. They deserve exactly what they're getting for being that dense. And OP replies, well, my boss took the phone when he was hired 3 months after me because he wanted to show me my level was not high enough to have a company phone. Well, sounds like he really messed himself over here.
Well, it just seems like the boss is one of those people who like has a superiority complex.
Yeah.
And has to be best at everything by trampling on other people.
And la 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 says, now the jerk. It's probably against company policy to share user IDs and passwords. You don't work there, you have no obligation to respond. I mean, unless you did a new phone who dis, why not just block them? Though, you could create an LLC and become a consultant for $20,000 an hour. And OP just laughs about that. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk? A client I did some work for refuses to pay his invoice, so I locked him out of his computer system. So some context first. I'm a contractor for various companies that need cybersecurity, systems to be locked down, etc. I'll keep it simple and not geek out too much. While I charge by the hour, I do try to keep my billables low, especially if I like the client. I also vocalize what I am working on very often for full transparency. Well, recently I did some work for a company and recently sent them an invoice as per usual. For some reason, though, this time, one of the part owners had a real issue with a couple of the things that I did. He claimed that nobody actually ever 100% signed off on it, despite him confirming the work himself, and that some things that I did were similar or redundant. The part that he was referring to was a temporary system that I set up on my own machine while I finished the long-term solution. So I ended up locking them out of one of their systems until the invoice is paid. I'm not trying to cause any damage, and as soon as they pay the invoice, they can have access again. For your information, this is a system that I built for them from this invoice, not something random that I've commandeered. Am I a jerk, or is this justified? The lawyer says that there is no legal issue here because it's unpaid labor, but I'm on the fence. Thoughts? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, this person is trying to use OP's work without paying them.
Yeah.
OP did this work. If it's good enough to be used, it's good enough to be paid for.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't want the pay for the work, then they don't use the work, right? I mean, that's really what it boils down to. They don't get to pick and choose here. So either they're happy with it enough that they can use it, or they're not, right? There's really just no middle ground there. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Forward Plenty says, not the jerk. This seems like a case of mess around and find out. And OP replies, yep, my thoughts exactly. Obviously, I could do some real damage if I wanted to, but that's not my intention. I just want to be paid what I'm owed, nothing else. If they have financial issues or anything, I would be happy to receive a payment plan or something. But the guy is just being a jerk. And KA Irony says, you're the jerk. There's no way a lawyer said that it was okay to lock a client/company out of their system. The correct remedy is to not do more work for them and then sue them for the unpaid invoices. Also, I hope your contract with them has late penalties and fees built into it. And OP replies, I actually didn't lock them out. They locked themselves out through incompetence and need me to give them access again. Sheesh, you're a bit over the top with your stance. I stuck to my end of the agreement and they backpedaled. I mean, with that additional information, I would say that OP is clearly not in the wrong at this point in time. Like, if this is something that they did with their own incompetence, then and OP, because I would say that it would be a little bit different if OP actually sent out a signal to lock them out or something like that. It might be a little bit of a different scenario.
I don't think it would be wrong, but it could be legally tricky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even with that legally tricky area, you just want to avoid being on the wrong side of the law here. And I mean, I do agree with this person to some degree where they're like, you should sue them for the work paid, which is annoying, but yeah, I mean, suing them over locking them out of their own systems, I think would be a better course of action.
I mean, but then you got to pay the legal fees and whatnot. It might not even be worth it depending on how much the job costs.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not giving my coworker a ride after he didn't spot me $1 at the vending machine? I usually give my coworker a ride on the way back from work, usually driving 5 miles out of my way per day to drop him off at his place because he doesn't have a car. I've been doing that for about 2 years now and haven't asked for anything from him, and he's never offered. Well, yesterday I was at a vending machine and I wanted a soda. I was $1 short and had left my wallet in my car. I would usually go get my wallet, but it takes forever to wait for the elevators at my workplace. So I asked if he could spot me $1 for the soda. He straight up refused and said, "Use your own money, man. I don't really give money to friends or coworkers. Sorry." I was taken aback by that comment because I probably spent well over $1,500 in gas over the past 2 years for this guy, and he can't even spot me just $1 this once. I got pretty upset by that, and once it hit 5, I told him that I wasn't giving him any free rides anymore. He seemed upset and said that I was being petty. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, he doesn't want to give money to coworkers, neither does OP. You know, he's been getting this free service for years, but it's costing someone money, and that person is OP.
We'll talk about biting the hand that feeds you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, OP's been doing this guy a huge favor. Like, I mean, and also $1.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like OP was like, "Hey, do you mind if you could loan me like $10,000 or something like that?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be a dollar isn't even something that you ask for back at that point in time, right? $1 is just you give $1 away to somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that this coworker. I think that they kind of had it coming. That was really stingy of them to deny OP $1 in this case.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And old Reginrine says, "Not the jerk. You asked him for a small favor and he refused and shamed you. You have no obligation to keep offering him a ride, though you should know that this will drastically deteriorate your relationship and they will make a big deal out of it." And OP replies, "Thankfully, we work in completely different departments." And Do Compote 4723 says, "Don't you think that you should worry about what others will say? You can repeat the story to other people and say that you have learned a lesson not to be nice to colleagues." And Designer Relative 1155 says, "Nah, people only listen to the initial sentence in a response. Just respond, 'I drove him out of my way every night for 2 years, and never once did I ask for gas money. In this economy, I can't afford it anymore.' Don't let it seem retaliatory. No one can come back at you for that." All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for telling my boss that I wasn't invited to the party?" I'm a 26-year-old female and I just started at a new job. I quickly realized that one of my colleagues, Marie, is engaged and is getting married within the next 2 months. It seemed like the whole office was attending the wedding. I absolutely did not expect an invite. She just met me and weddings are planned in advance, venues booked, etc. My friend actually just got married, so I saw firsthand how it all worked. I could tell that Marie was wondering if I was expecting an invitation and was hesitant to bring up the wedding around me. But I just never made a big deal of it. I don't feel left out in the slightest. Then I got CC'd on an email from someone at the office, Joan. She was throwing Marie a shower during our lunch hour in the break room a couple of weeks from then. Joan was sending out a collection so that we could give a group gift, cash, to Marie. They also suggested that we make it a potluck. Joanne included her Venmo and asked if we wanted to email back what we were planning on bringing. Even if I wasn't going to the wedding, I still believe that everyone deserves to be celebrated and Venmoed the $20, as well as sent a reply saying that I would bring lasagna. Well, a little while later, I saw that the $20 had been returned to my Venmo, and Joan was approaching my desk. She said that I didn't need to contribute. I said that even if I'm not attending the wedding, I would still like to give Marie a little something. Joan looked a little awkward and hemmed and hawed and eventually said, "You're not invited to the shower." I was confused and I said, "I can't go in the company break room on a lunch hour?" And she replied, "Yes." I asked where I was supposed to go. I don't drive. I take public transit to and from work. We don't really work anywhere where I could really go quickly for an hour of lunch. She said that I could just stay at my desk. I pointed out that this was a little exclusionary, and Joan said that Marie didn't want me to assume that I was invited to the wedding. I said that I don't at all. I completely understand that I haven't worked here long enough and that we're not that close. I'm not hurt by that. She said, "That's great, but I still can't come." I asked if I had done anything to offend Marie, and she said no. She just doesn't want me to get my hopes up. I finally let it go and just said, "Fine, have a good party." The day of the shower, I sat at my desk during the party while everyone else went, eating my lunch alone. One kind person snuck in and gave me a piece of cake. Well, halfway through the party, the big boss came in. She doesn't usually work on Fridays, so it was a surprise to see her. She saw me sitting at my desk and asked why I wasn't at the party. I told her that I hadn't been invited. She was clearly perturbed by this. Later on, she sent out an email banning parties of any kind during work hours. A few people, Joan and Marie included, realized that I'm the one who told. They've now turned on me. Some friends say that I was in the wrong here, in that I should have lied to the big boss and said that I was just too busy with work to finish, or something like that, so as not to ruin it for everyone else. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. This is a like company break room to be used by all employees. They can't dictate that you not go in there. I think the boss is just doing the sensible thing here, by banning parties because people aren't doing them appropriately. Like, it's unfortunate that it's come to this, but you can't just ban other people from using a company break room for everyone.
I could understand it if OP didn't want to give money and didn't want to bring anything for the potluck. Why they would be like, well, if you're not going to bring, a pot something for the potluck, then you're not invited to the potluck, right? But seeing as how OP was ready and willing to bring something to the potluck, they should have been invited and they should have been able to enjoy that party as well,
Well, that's
right?
the thing is like if you're hosting a party in an office, it's kind of like if you have a party at an elementary school, you got to invite all the kids. Like you can't have like one kid in the class singled out. Everyone has to be involved.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in a workplace. If you're going to have a party in the workplace during work hours, you've got to be able to like invite everyone.
Yeah. Well, I like your analogy to like the school pizza party, right? Like, suppose a kid just moves to the school like the day before a pizza party. Is the teacher going to exclude the kid because they weren't good or whatever didn't earn the pizza party? Of course they aren't, right? That would be cruel to do to a child. And likewise, just because OP didn't work there doesn't mean they should be excluded from this party, right?
And not only excluded from the party, but from the break room itself, which is
Hmm.
where people have their lunch and kind of like get away, get a break.
Yeah. So I thought it was rude. I thought it was very rude. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why did the maple turn on a romantic comedy?
Why did the maple
Hmm.
turn on a romantic comedy? Well, I would imagine it's because they wanted to send their little helicopters in and have like a raid on their romantic comedy, and then they would be like turn it into an action flick.
Interesting take. It wanted to watch something sappy,
Ah.
and today is Maple Syrup Saturday.
So go find yourself a whole bottle of maple syrup and just chug it.
No, do not do that.
Take
I do not recommend
take
it.
maple syrup shots.
No, that
It,
sounds disgusting.
I was like, no, not at
I'm just
all.
horrified over here. I mean, I don't even like maple syrup to begin with, but no.
And I have the special guest tea, some matcha. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is off to a spectacular start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on entitled coworkers.
If you always expect favors of others but never offer anything in kind, you may see those favors dry up.
That's some good advice. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.